afternoon. My name is Ken Fisher, and it's an honor to serve as co-chairman of the Intrepid Museum. Given the strange and difficult times we are living through, with much of our country shut down and Fleet Week canceled, I've been asked countless times over the past month, how will Intrepid be able to conduct its annual Memorial Day ceremony? My reply was simple: how could we not? In times of stress or distress, our armed forces have never failed us. In fact, it's during those times that they rise to the occasion, soaring highest. The same can be said about our team at the Intrepid. Our commitment is unwavering, and in this stressful time, we cannot and will not forget the Intrepid men and women, the brave, the heroic, who served us throughout our history and made the ultimate sacrifice for the freedoms that we enjoy each day. Thank you to all those, despite the challenges, who helped us make our traditional Memorial Day commemoration continue this year. And thank you for joining us.
My name is Susan Marenoff-Zausner. I'm president of the Intrepid Sea and Space Museum. On behalf of our Board of Trustees, it is my privilege to welcome our viewers across the nation and around the world to our annual Memorial Day ceremony. For those of you not familiar with Intrepid, in its time of active duty, it served our nation proudly, engaged in World War II, the Cold War, 3 tours in Vietnam, and the space race. And now as a museum, Intrepid has become a landmark institution in New York City, welcoming more than 1 million visitors annually. We protect and we preserve the living history of the ship and the stories of those who served on board. Our award-winning STEM education programs impact more than 50,000 young people per year, and currently we are continuing these programs virtually. We are a leader in inclusion. We host programs for veterans returning with post-traumatic stress and programs for those with cognitive challenges, and we offer numerous engaging events for our community to experience the museum for free. Each year on Memorial Day, the Intrepid Museum proudly hosts an important and poignant ceremony, which includes active duty military personnel, veterans, civic leaders, Intrepid former crew members, and thousands of visitors from all over the United States and all over the world. And we're gathered together next to the legendary aircraft carrier we call Intrepid to pay tribute to those who lost their life defending our nation and our freedom. These are not normal times, and unfortunately we cannot be together in person. For now, we gather virtually to uphold tradition and fulfill our solemn responsibility. In the words you will hear today from the Governor of New York State, Andrew Cuomo, the Commandant of the Coast Guard, Admiral Karl Schultz, and Stuart Gelband, President of the Intrepid Former Crew Members Association, and in the laying of a memorial wreath on the Hudson River by Navy Commander Jay Yellen and the sounding of taps by Marine Corps Sergeant Dennis Vanterpool, we honor all the brave servicemen and women who made the ultimate sacrifice, including 250 of Intrepid sailors who gave their lives aboard this ship and in the skies above. To begin our ceremony, I'd like to introduce, courtesy of our friends at the Waterwell Theatre Company, Tony Award-winning actress Stephanie Block to perform our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, dost that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free, and the home of the brave.
Stephanie, thank you. It is my honor to introduce United States Coast Guard Commandant Admiral Karl L. Schultz.
Today I stand before you as the Commandant of the United States Coast Guard to represent the men and women of all 6 of our armed forces: your United States Army, Marine Corps, Navy, Air Force, Space Force, and Coast Guard. To the many veterans watching, including those who served aboard USS Intrepid, thank you for your selfless service. You deserve our gratitude, our respect, and our remembrance. Today we pay tribute to the heroes who stood up, raised their right hand, and swore an oath to defend this great nation, defend people they had never met, defend our values and our Constitution. Those whose service and sacrifice are the foundation for our freedom. For there is nothing more noble than a man or woman who willingly steps towards danger, who risks everything for their fellow countrymen. As Ronald Reagan said, the willingness of some to give their lives so that others might live never fails to evoke in us a sense of wonder and mystery. So on Memorial Day, we pause to reflect, to remember. And there is no better place to remember our nation's heroes than aboard USS Intrepid, where 270 sailors gave their lives aboard this ship and her aircraft. During World War II, the crew of USS Intrepid served with distinction in the Pacific Fleet, earning 5 battle stars for their role helping sink both of Japan's super battleships, Yamato and Musashi, and participating in the largest naval battle in history, the Battle of Leyte Gulf. Intrepid went on to honorably serve in both the Cold War and the Vietnam War. Thank you to Susan and the Intrepid Museum for maintaining this proud ship, so we can come here to remember those who served our country in her hour of greatest need. While Intrepid has come to rest permanently alongside the pier, the legacy of the crew, their courage and their dedication, lives on in the soldiers, sailors, airmen, Marines, and Coast Guardsmen serving today. Ships like this are both a reminder of past sacrifices and a promise for a better tomorrow. At the moment, we face a different enemy, a pandemic, a health crisis that makes this Memorial Day all the more poignant. For the small sacrifices we make today serve as a solemn reminder of the ultimate sacrifice American soldiers, sailors, airmen, Marines, and Coast Guardsmen have made to defend our nation, protect its citizens, and preserve our freedom. Although we cannot gather together as a community this Memorial Day, today and every day, we can remember and honor the sacrifice of the men and women who gave so much in service to our great nation.
Thank you, Admiral Schultz. It is my privilege to introduce the 56th Governor of New York State, the Honorable Andrew M. Cuomo.
We're at the USS Intrepid Sea, Air, and Space Museum. This is a remarkable facility, and it's always a pleasure to be here. It was started by the Fisher family, which is one of the great families of the state of New York. Susan Marenoff-Zausner is here with us today, who's the president of the organization. We want to thank her for her kindness. And today we honor the service members who have lost their lives. We remember their families and the pain that they've dealt with. And we thank them all for their service, their bravery, and their sacrifice. I want to thank the Gelband family, Stu and Ellen, for being with us today and giving us the honor. And let's take a moment of silence in memory of all those who are fallen and wishing their families peace on this difficult day. Thank you. This is the USS Intrepid. I've been here a number of times. Every time I come, I learn something else. Remarkable history itself, launched in 1943, over 30 years of service. Served in World War II, the Cold War, Vietnam War. It really is a phenomenal walk through history, visiting this great ship. 250 Americans who served on board lost their life while they were serving on this ship, and that brings home the message of today. President Kennedy was speaking about Memorial Day and giving thanks to those who served and who made the ultimate sacrifice, but he reminded us that as we express our gratitude, never forget that the highest appreciation is not about uttering the words, but to live them. That is the greatest acknowledgement of the sacrifice that has been made, to carry it forward. And this Memorial Day, I think it's especially poignant and powerful when this country is going through what it's going through. And we know something about loss because we're living it again. Over 100,000 Americans will lose their lives to this COVID virus. How do we honor them? We honor them by growing stronger together. And during these times, there are so many Americans who have really risen to the challenge, done more than anyone could ask, more than anyone could expect.
Thank you, Governor Cuomo. Speaking today on behalf of all Intrepid former crew members is their association president, who served aboard Intrepid from 1970 to 1972, Stu Gelband.
Hello, my name is Stuart Gelband, and I served on Intrepid from 1970 to 1972. Today, I act as the president of the Former Crew Members Association, and I am honored to represent the more than 50,000 men who served aboard this great ship. On their behalf, this Memorial Day, we remember the more than 250 men who lost their lives while serving aboard Intrepid, and all Americans who gave their lives in defense of our nation. We will never forget their sacrifice. We also pay our respects to the former crew members and those across the country who lost their lives to COVID-19. They will always be in our hearts. Thank you for marking this sacred day with the Intrepid, and God bless America.
Ladies and gentlemen, we will now continue with a solemn tradition of this museum, the laying of memorial wreaths. Governor Andrew Cuomo and Navy Commander Jay Yellen will each lay a memorial wreath on the Hudson River in memory of all United States military personnel lost throughout our nation's history. Commander Yellen, also a surgeon in a New York hospital, has been on the front lines during this time, caring for critically ill COVID-19 patients. Stu Gelband will lay a wreath in memory of all Intrepid crew members. Following the laying of the wreaths will be the playing of taps by Sergeant Dennis Vanterpool from the Marine Corps 6th Communication Battalion. Thank you all again for commemorating this important day with us, honoring and remembering all of those who made the ultimate sacrifice for all of us. We look forward to the day sometime soon when we can welcome you back to the Intrepid with open arms. To conclude our ceremony, it is a privilege to introduce a special performance by the United States Navy Band. God bless you, and God bless America.
Thank you very much to the United States Navy Band for that beautiful performance. Truly moving. My name is Bruce Mosler, and I have the privilege of serving as co-chairman of the Intrepid Museum. On behalf of our entire Board of Trustees, the museum staff, and all of those who served on board Intrepid, thank you for helping us commemorate those who made the ultimate sacrifice. And thank you to the servicemen and women of today who put themselves in harm's way to protect the freedoms that we all hold so dear. Stay safe and stay healthy.